Welcome to my review of episode 22 of Dragon Ball Super entitled Chenji Masaka no Fukatsu Sono na wa Ginyu, which translates to Change, an impossible revival, the name's Ginyu. And just the name of the episode is enough to get fans of Dragon Ball Z, fans of the great captain or commander Ginyu from the Ginyu Tokusentai, the Ginyu Force, to salivate, so to speak. And man, a lot of stuff happened in this episode. They really have diverted quite a bit from the Resurrection F movie. So Tagoma powers up, and the one thing I was talking about Laughing Stock Media about the other night is Tagoma's jump in power from being at the level of Dodoria to now being able to essentially be one of the strongest characters in the series is like maybe the biggest leap in power in the history of the entire series. I mean, it has to be a tie between Tagoma and Freeza, right, in this arc. So Tagoma's powering up and he's being all cocky. Piccolo goes one-on-one with Tagoma, which is pretty awesome. Punches Tagoma in the face. Tagoma no-sells the punch and then just grabs him and cuts Piccolo's arm off violently. This was in the preview for the episode. Then Piccolo starts getting lit up in the face with lefts and rights, but then he quickly grows his arm back. So his arm does grow back. Then out of nowhere, this was totally unexpected, Gotenks, Super Gotenks, SSJ-1 Gotenks appears out of nowhere. So I guess that Trunks and Goten fused earlier before showing up. Headbutts Tagoma in the balls. Pure comedy. And then they pose and all of a sudden they defuse. Okay. Way too soon for them to defuse. Now, if you're sitting there and you're thinking, okay, well, wait a minute. If they fused to make Gotenks, we don't know how long they were in that form. Well, considering that Gotenks was able to freaking fly around the world fast as hell, I refuse to believe that the Gotenks form would defuse so quickly. They literally headbutted them, made a couple jokes, and then defused. That's not enough time at all. So that's a negative on this episode. There's actually a few plot holes here. There's actually a few things that don't make any sense, which bug me about Super. I mean, Super JAYAIN told me last night, he said, Dragon Ball Super has more plot holes than GT, and in some cases it really does. Like, in some cases it really, really does, yo. Let's be real here. And it's irritating, okay? The fusion is 30 minutes. If they use up a lot of power, fine, but they're in their SSJ-1 form. Why'd they defuse? Whatever. Then we have a moment that I've been waiting for a long time since like December. Freeza lays his eyes on Goten and Trunks for the first time. I have waited for this moment. Freeza then has a flashback of future Trunks, realizes who they are, and he's angry. But again, he doesn't do anything. I was expecting Freeza to attack Trunks and Goten, at least Trunks, and do something, but he didn't do anything. He just... why? Why didn't he attack? Like, I don't know. Then we go to Tagoma, who's still holding his balls and in pain. Frog Ginyu's right in front of him. Frog Ginyu writes the word change in the sand in a weird alien language. Tagoma reads it out loud, and boom, that initiates the body switch. Okay, so wait a minute. I understand that. Okay, I kind of get what they're doing in that Tagoma said change and that initiated the technique. But that doesn't make sense because the only one who can initiate, as far as we know from Dragon Ball Z, the Namek arc, the only one that can initiate that technique, the body change technique, is Ginyu himself saying change. Which is, you know, when in that filler episode where Bulma created that animal translator gimmick and then Ginyu says change. Because still, even though you're saying the word change, like, it's still a technique that Ginyu knows. So you're telling me that I know a technique, somebody else says a technique, and I can use it on them? That doesn't make sense. That does not make any sense at all. Like, if it's Ginyu's technique, he should be the one to say the command, not anybody else. Like, it's just, that's a bad plot hole. So they switch bodies. Captain Ginyu is in Tagoma's body. Captain Ginyu in Tagoma's body does the Ginyu Force pose, which was awesome. Jocko explains the Ginyu Force to people who don't know. And then Goten and Trunks kind of mark out at over the cool poses, which I loved. I actually really like the Buu Saga generation meeting the Freeza Saga generation. Like, I really, really like that. I thought it was very fun. I wish they would do more stuff like this, maybe with Majin Buu being involved in this battle, but I don't think he will be. But nonetheless, I I think I love it. I love that Goten Trunks interacting with Ginyu and Frieza from, several arcs earlier. We then have a flashback of Ginyu's fate on Namek, which again, another somewhat of a plot hole, because when Kid Buu blew up the Earth and they summoned the dragon resurrected everybody who had been killed by Kid Buu who wasn't evil. Or Majin Buu who wasn't evil, whatever. I don't understand how Ginyu came back to life. It doesn't really make sense. Now, perhaps Ginyu isn't that evil. Perhaps the idea is that the dragon did not see Frog Ginyu at that time in his life be that evil. Okay, that kind of makes sense, but then why is he wanting to work for Frieza again, knowing that Frieza's bad news? I don't know. Leave me a comment in the comment section below. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. Maybe Ginyu really isn't that evil. He just likes to work for Frieza, and maybe he thinks Frieza's good. Maybe it's one of those stupid Anakin Skywalker, from my point of view, the Jedi are evil. Maybe Ginyu thinks that Frieza's a nice guy. I have my doubts, though. Another plot hole. How is it possible that Captain Ginyu can control Tagoma's body and harness that power if he couldn't even control Goku's body on Namek? Remember, guys, when Ginyu switched bodies with Goku, Goku told him, you don't know how to use that body properly, you don't know how to manipulate the ki inside the body, and he wasn't just talking about Kaioken, he was talking about the entire body. It doesn't make sense that Frog Ginyu can all of a sudden know how to control Tagoma's body, who's way stronger than Namek Saga Goku. Tagoma is ridiculously strong now because of his training with Frieza. How the fuck can Ginyu control this body but couldn't control Goku's body? Some people on Twitter were saying, oh, well, maybe their bodies are similar in biology. Maybe it's a different kind of thing, different kind of strength. Okay, that's fine. Maybe, but I still think it's a plot hole. It's still not explained. Explain these things to us. So Tagoma's freaking out, powering up, or Ginyu inside Tagoma. Bulma then calls Whis and tries to get Goten and Trunks to help them call Goku and Vegeta there with the parfait. Beerus is, of course, enjoying his pizza. We then cut to Goku and Vegeta training in that weird world that Whis sent them in, which is pretty much Whis' version of the Room of Spirit and Time. In other words, time works differently in that room. So this gives Goku and Vegeta plenty of time to learn how to harness, tap into, / master SS God SS or Super Saiyan Blue, whatever you want to call it. Looks like we're going to get that in that room, but we might not actually see them learn it. We'll see. But they were in there, and it's explained that that room has like no time or whatever. So Tagoma then starts kicking Gohan's ass in Ginyu and Tagoma's body. Just really fucks him up. Gohan then transforms into an SSJ. It looks like SSJ 2, but it could just be Super Saiyan 1. Frieza sees it for the first time in the Super Continuity and is like, oh, Super Saiyajin, And then Gohan pretty much starts winning the fight. Gohan is now beating Tagoma. And again, that begs the question. So how weak and how strong is this version of Gohan? Because Tagoma easily ran through Piccolo. That's the other thing, too, I forgot to mention. Tagoma ate up all the Z fighters with one shot. Roshi, Krillin, Tenshinhan, Piccolo, they all got taken out by Tagoma. Gohan goes SSJ, and he's able to defeat Tagoma. So maybe Gohan is not as weak as we thought, or maybe he's stronger than we initially thought. I don't know, but I find it weird that Gohan at this point could take on Tagoma and not Piccolo. I mean, I guess Gohan is still stronger than Piccolo, but how much stronger than Piccolo is he? I don't know. And then what happens is Frieza's like, fuck this, and shoots Gohan in the shoulder with one of his little finger beams, stopping him in his tracks. Then he has a flashback to Namek. Frieza starts laying Gohan in with these little blasts, just like he did Tagoma. Good stuff here. Great performance by Ryusei Nakao. Just fantastic vocal performance. Frieza's about to finish Gohan off, and of course, Piccolo ate the shot, just like he did against Nappa, and just like he did to protect Goku on Namek against Frieza. Piccolo eats the death blow and goes down. Great throwback to Namek, and that's the cliffhanger for the episode. It looks like next week, based on the next episode preview, Goku and Vegeta finally hit the battlefield. It looks like Vegeta will be fighting Tagoma. Will Tagoma get his body back? Or will Ginyu switch back with the frog? Or what's going to happen? We don't know, but there's a clip of Vegeta fighting Tagoma and Frieza going into his fourth form. So My review on this episode, mixed bag. There was good stuff, there was bad stuff. There was plot holes that irritated the shit out of me that did not have to be there. They were pointless plot holes. There was a few too many flashbacks to the Dragon Ball Z anime. And like I've said before, whenever they go from the Super digital animation to the Z old animation, it always looks really weird. But they did that, and it was weird. But I do like the incorporation of Gotenks, and I do like the incorporation of Ginyu. I just thought they should have really, really hired a continuity editor or somebody to really check their facts to make sure it's fine. I felt like great ideas here, but the execution was not as good as I had expected. But I am digging it. I'm still digging it. I haven't been turned off by it completely. We're probably not going to get any explanations to these plot holes, but nonetheless, it's still a decent episode. A lot of stuff happened, and next week, the big finale, because it looks like Goku will be taking on Final Form Freeza next week, base versus Final Form, just like in the Resurrection F movie. So that is it. Give me your thoughts below. Did you like this episode? Did the plot holes bug you as much as it bugged me? Because they sure as hell bugged me. Let me know your thoughts. I will talk to you guys later, and I'll catch you all down the road.